What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Combat and Kick It with your host, Bando. You already know UFC 291 was this past weekend, and it was a phenomenal card from top to bottom, from the early prelims to the main card. A lot of great fights. You know, couple fights went to decision, but besides the fights that went to decision, even though those were good as well, a lot of explosive fights, all the way up to an explosive KO in the main event. Let's get right into it. Let's get to the review. So you know what it is when it comes to the review. You know what I do. You know what happens. We talk about all things that happened this past weekend. And I'm going to mainly stick to UFC 291 for this one and do my Bud Crawford, my Bud Crawford, Errol Spence a completely separate episode, because there's going to be some stuff to talk about in that one. But this whole card, I called it the BMF card, the bad motherfucker card, not just because of the belt that was on the line, but because there was a lot of big matchups on this card. Now, there was some fun prelim matchups, some upcoming names like Miranda Maverick, Uros Medic, Roman Kopylov. Lot of names, a lot of fun people to pay attention to. Even Jake Matthews had a good fight against a up and comer, against a guy on his debut who showed up a bit, and a lot of fun fights, a lot of very fun fights. But you know what I do. I mainly focus on that main card because not everybody saw the prelims. A lot of people don't get the chance to see the prelims because they're still a little early, 7 o'clock. Sometimes people are still at work, and or they're out and about with their friends and stuff, and they're not paying attention until those big names come on, because for the more casual fan, a lot of people don't pay attention to the prelims. But I do. Trust me, I do. Just because I don't review them or break them down much does not mean I don't pay attention. I totally do pay attention. And maybe I'll just start breaking them down more often. But for this one, we're getting straight into the main card. So let's talk about that shit. Opening the card in a phenomenal way. You opened the main card perfectly with Kevin Holland and Michael Chiesa, and Kevin Holland looked awesome. There's not much else to say. It was a short fight, first round finish, got him in the Darce choke, caught Michael Chiesa in the Darce choke. Now you can go back to the last episode, pay attention. I said they both got to be careful. Kevin Holland's got to be careful because Chiesa's jiu-jitsu is so good, but I said at the same time Chiesa's got to be careful too, because Kevin Holland's got that slick jiu-jitsu. He's got very slick jiu-jitsu with them skinny arms, bro. He's able to get in between things that people don't recognize and see, and he's quick with it. So really good win, really good Darce finish by him. So he gets a submission win, says he wants to move up to 185. We'll see what happens if he goes back up to 185. He doesn't have to cut weight or anything like that, but he's been looking good at 170. I feel like he's been looking really good at 170, so if he decided to stay there, not a bad idea. But phenomenal win for Big Mouth, for Kevin Holland, the Trailblazer. Got it done against Michael Chiesa. What's next for Chiesa? That's a fucking tough question, because a long time off, and I'm pretty sure the last fight he was in was a loss, so a long time off from that last time to come in here to have a first round, getting submitted in the first round. I'm not sure what's next for Chiesa. Gotta just see, gotta play the cards right. He's not one of those guys where you're like, oh, he's old or anything like that, and he's got to get out of his career, but has had some back problems discussed in the past, so you never know. Maybe it's just not his thing. Maybe it's not the best thing for him right now. Maybe the back, not having a very strong back, a fully strong back, it probably doesn't help much. So who knows what's next for Michael Chiesa. I honestly think he is a very, very skilled fighter who just makes mistakes. That's a lot of the stuff. A lot of the times, man, watching these guys, that's all it comes down to, is a couple of them losses are the guy making a mistake, and that's what Chiesa did. Chiesa made a mistake, and it happens. Kevin Holland got the win. You can't say that Kevin Holland didn't look great, because in my opinion, Kevin Holland looked phenomenal. So moving on, after that fight, you moved on to Tony Ferguson and Bobby Green. Tony Ferguson and Bobby Green. Yeah. 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 Do we even want to break this one down? Do we want to review this? Do we want to even talk about this? Do we really want to do it? You guys want to see a grown man cry? No, look. I wanted Tony to get the win. I really did. The man went in there as a plus 300 underdog. I wanted him to get the win. Not only is it just because I'm a fan, and we're all fans. There's not many people who aren't fans of Tony Ferguson. So to sit there and say you're not a fan, you're just bullshitting. I'm a fan of Tony Ferguson. Not only do I want to see him back in the win column, it sucks to see one of your favorite fighters and a guy that was so enjoyable that locked you to the screen every time you watched him fight go 0-6 in his last 6. It's real shitty. Real shitty. It sucks to see. I blame Justin Gaethje. It's all Justin Gaethje's fault. But look, man, it's a tough sport. It's a tough sport. Like I said with Michael Chiesa, man, you make mistakes in these fights and you slip up and you end up losing. It doesn't mean you're not a good fighter. And for Tony Ferguson's case, it's not much of mistakes being made or slip ups. It just seems like the 12 fights that he had, things catch up, and it looks like the career caught up to him, right? 12 amazing fights, 12 amazing wins, a beautiful win streak, one of the best in lightweight history, and now he's 0-6. It can switch just like that. Now, 2020 was not helpful when it comes to anybody's career, and the way him and Justin Gaethje fought, it was nasty. Gaethje was hitting him with shots that most people would not walk through. Most people would have been knocked the fuck out cold. We've seen Gaethje land those shots on other people. James Vick, Edson Barbosa. All the shots that he was landing on Tony back in that COVID fight. You know what I'm saying? It would have knocked guys out, but Tony stood in there and took all the damage. But ever since then, we have not seen the same Tony Ferguson. The loss to Gaethje, lost to Oliveira, lost to Dariush, lost to Chandler, lost to Diaz. Now lost to Bobby Green. What does a lot of people say? Hang it up. It sucks when you're a fan and you have to sit there and feel that way, right? Because, who am I to say that? I didn't put in the work to get to that point in my career to where I can, make that decision. I'm nobody to make that decision or say that person needs to quit. There's no reason why I can't say that Tony can't come back and win another fight, but it just doesn't look good, right? It doesn't look good, and in the style, the sport that you're in, right? It's not a good sport to continue to go out there and continue to get beat. For what? For what? To attempt to get that one? You end up looking like BJ Penn. It's the sad truth of the fight game. It's how it goes. One minute you're on top. 1 minute you're not. The thing that sucks is there's so many fans. We wanted to see the Khabib and Tony. The Khabib and Tony era was such a fun era. We wanted to see that fight just come to fruition, and it never did, right? We also wanted to see Tony Ferguson and Conor McGregor, and we never got that, right? There's a lot of matchups we could have got with Tony in the top 5 that we didn't when he was on that 12-fight win streak, and I think that's another thing that keeps fans so heartbroken at the fact that we can't see Tony Ferguson get that win. But to not take, it sucks seeing Tony lose, but you can't say shit bad about Bobby Green's performance. Legitimately cannot say a bad thing about Bobby Green's performance. The man was lighting it up. Simple as that. He was lighting it up on Saturday night. His cardio looked good. He was fast. His hands were looking just perfect, man. The first round, Tony seemed like he was kind of okay. Then it just seemed like Bobby got him uncomfortable. Bobby started landing 1-2s down the middle. There it was. I knew it was coming. I knew the cough was coming. Bobby started landing 1-2s down the middle. Clean 1-2s. And it seems now that when Tony gets caught with clean connections, he doesn't have that same want to engage like he used to. It's not that he's not war ready, but he's got to change his style completely if he wanted to continue fighting to where it's something that he can't be unorthodox. He's got to be orthodox. He's got to be very defensive, right? He's got to be more defensive, better on the counterpunching, keeping his hands up. He's still too flowy, and he just doesn't have that vibe anymore. And guys have caught up to him. And like I said, if this fight happened 5 years ago, completely different fight. Completely different fight. I mean, there's times where Bobby would land something and Tony would hit him, and Bobby would stop with his combination just for a second. Not like it would throw Bobby off or anything, but it would make Bobby reset. And the thing about that is, when Tony used to do that to guys, he swarmed them. Not like swarmed for the finish, but he swarmed them. He's hitting you with elbows, shit that's tight in the clinch. And the groundwork was he looked like a duck out of water. No, that wasn't a fart. If you heard that, that was the cushion. Just so you know. So don't try to play me. But he looked like a fish out of water, bro. He looked like he didn't know what to do, which is surprising as fuck. We've seen Tony Ferguson put nasty submissions on people from his back, different Darce chokes and stuff that he's gotten people with in the past, cutting people open from the bottom, and Bobby Green was whooping him up. That's the best way of describing it. Bobby Green was whooping him up in those positions that we are used to seeing Tony completely thrive in. So it sucked to see Tony get that loss. But like I said, nothing to take away from Bobby Green. Great performance. Great performance. Simple as that. The man came prepared and he did what he was supposed to do. So, on to the next one. The Black Beast. Derek Lewis. You crazy son of a bitch. You are wild, my friend. This guy. This guy's crazy. Legitimately. Who the fuck would have predicted Derek Lewis? Now, I could have predicted some wild shit in a Derek Lewis fight. We could all predict something wild to happen in a Derek Lewis fight. But did anybody predict that Derek Lewis was going to come out with a fucking flying knee? A flying knee. And not only that, it wasn't one of those flying knees where you see a guy throw the flying knee and just like the force and the pressure and because of how fast the guy's coming and how heavy he is and everything like that, the other guy gets hit with just the impact of it, not actually caught with it, but hit with the impact of it and he falls back. It wasn't even that. He got full-fledged. He clipped him with a fucking knee to the chin. Dropped him. Swarmed him. Got the finish. Derek Lewis back in the win column in the best way possible. And my man's took off his shorts. Now, for anybody watching this that has never watched fighting, that doesn't know who Derek Lewis is, and hears me saying, while I'm smiling, saying another man took off his shorts, it's not what you think. It's fucking hilarious. Because it's Derek Lewis. My man's is different. His balls was hot. Simple as that. Yo, I need you guys to go back and watch that interview because I don't know if I'll be able to post it with this video. But go back and watch that post-fight press conference. Or not press conference, but post-fight in Octagon, like the interview. Watch that. And when he says why he took off his shorts, that might have been the loudest crowd pop the entire night. Just listen to that. That crowd went nuts. That's how big of a fan favorite Derek Lewis is. There's nothing else to even review or break down into that fight. Derek Lewis came out with a flying knee, dropped Lima, swarmed him, and got the finish. Back in the win column, like I said, for the Black Beast. And if there's anybody I love to see win, it's fucking Derek Lewis. And not because of the funny, all the funny shit that comes after, all the shit that comes in the post-fight interview and the post-fight press conference and all the memes and everything like that. I love all that, but that's not the reason, man. I fuck with Derek Lewis. I like seeing him win. I like seeing the guy break records because you look at him and he's not the most technically sound fighter. He's just a slugger who hits hard as fuck and is fun as hell to watch. So, shout out to Derek Lewis. Like I said, back in the win column in the best way possible. So, moving on to the co-main event. Alex Pereira versus Jan Blachowicz. This fight did not go how I expected it to go at all. We open the first round. Jan's immediately to them legs. Jan gets to the legs of Alex. He's working. He's working for takedowns the whole entire time. Working for the takedown. He briefly got moments of the takedown and then finally gets the takedown and is working to get his back and he's working to get his neck. And all I can say is Alex Pereira's defense was fucking A1. Now we can sit back and say, yeah, he didn't look phenomenal in the striking realm. It wasn't his best night in the striking department, but nor was it Jan's. Neither guy looked super sharp in the striking, but all I can say is, damn, Alex defended all of the submissions. Now, at first watch, paying attention the first time, I'm like, damn, Alex just gave Jan this fight. Multiple takedowns he let him get. He let him get that last takedown in the final round, in the third round. But literally, Jan didn't do shit with none of them. Jan did nothing with them because he couldn't. Alex defended everything, and the first round was the only action you saw from Jan on the ground where it was threatening. The only time where Alex had to fight off chokes and defend that stuff, there wasn't much else in the second or third round from Jan that had that. And for Alex was landing leg kicks, heavy leg kicks. Nothing crazy with the punches. He landed a couple left hands, but nothing crazy. Landed a couple nice jabs that snapped in there. Jan landed a couple good strikes, but overall, split decision win goes to Alex Pereira. Am I mad at it? Not at all. If it went to Jan, would I have argued? Probably not, but I'm not arguing the fact that it went to Alex either. It was close enough. I think it was close enough. I think Alex overall did do enough damage, but I've seen, past scorecards where these judges score based off of wrestling, and they could have gave just the fact that Jan got him down. You never know. You never know. You really don't. You never know. But overall, I agree with the fact that it went to Alex. I think Alex did a little bit more on the striking. Definitely more damaged that front, the lead leg of Jan Blachowicz. So I thought Alex looked kind of slow, but at the same time, these guys were fighting at altitude, fighting in Utah, so that can always play a part because Jan also looked very fatigued and everything like that. I'm not going to say Alex really looked fatigued as much as Alex just looked slow. He looked slow, he looked heavy, but first fight at 205, decent debut. So we'll wait and see. You already know the next fight's going to be Yuri, so that'll be for the belt. And if Alex could get that done and get the belt already, that's an unbelievable quick rise in the UFC. Extremely quick rise in the UFC. But good win for him. I'm glad he won because, like I said, I really wanted to see Alex versus Yuri, so I'm not mad at it at all. And I don't think any fans are either. So on to the next one, the main event, the baddest motherfucker belt was on the line. And Justin Gaethje took that shit off the line. And he won. And I'm not mad about it. I was going to say I'm pissed. I'm not mad about it. I'm just like, damn. I wanted to see like a 5-round slugfest, right? So I went through the nerves of watching. I was watching Alex and Bud Crawford at the same time. Now, I'm a fan of Alex and I'm a fan of Bud Crawford. So the nerves were going during both those fights. And then we get to the main event. The bad motherfucker belt's on the line. And I'm like, all right, I can be calm because I got no dog in this fight. Didn't have no money on that fight at all. Just needed Dustin to land 120 or more significant strikes. And I'm like, man, this fight's going to be a long fight. 4 or 5 rounds, 3 to 5 rounds, guaranteed. It's going to be a long one. So I should be good with that, right? I should be good. So I wasn't nervous, though. I had no, like I said, no dog in the fight. But I kind of wanted Dustin to win. That was my prediction. And man, both men looked pretty decent. I thought Dustin looked a little small. Like, it's weird to say that, but Dustin looked really small in there. Was playing with his shorts way too much. And didn't look like he had the same pop in his punches. He did catch Gaethje once, but besides that, it didn't seem like he had the same flow or couldn't get flowing. But at the same time, his defense looked good. Didn't look like Justin was really landing anything too heavy in there for that first round. Had a couple decent exchanges, but moved into the second round. I'm like, all right, if we're getting an exciting fight, because it was decently exciting. Like, it wasn't a crazy first round. There wasn't blood pouring and spraying everywhere. It wasn't crazy like that, but it was decent. It was pretty back and forth. Both men trying to control the pace, pressing forward, doing different things. I just thought Dustin didn't look his best. I just thought his defense looked good, but his hands just didn't seem. I don't know. Maybe I gotta watch it back. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I gotta watch it back. But I'll watch that fight back and see. But Justin came out in that second round, stayed clean, stayed tight, caught him with a head kick, which another thing that to me that was the most unpredictable thing on the card. Not just the fact that Dustin Poirier got knocked out cold. The fact that it was by a head kick by Justin Gaethje. I would have never expected Justin Gaethje to be chucking up head kicks. But he threw a couple body kicks, right? And he did throw a head kick earlier in the first round. I was like, oh man, he got that up there pretty quick. Like, I'm used to seeing Justin Gaethje get them shits up there pretty quick. He got it up there pretty quick. So I was like, damn. Second round, comes out, throws the exact same combination that Leon Edwards threw last year in Utah to knock out Justin Gaethje's teammate Kamaru Usman. He throws the same combination at Dustin Poirier, except from the orthodox stance instead of southpaw. Hits him with a head kick, knocks him out, Spark unconscious. And that ends the night with Justin Gaethje as the BMF. Do I argue? No, because Justin Gaethje is a bad motherfucker. So is Dustin. Two dudes that should have been fighting for that belt. I love it. Not that the other two shouldn't have been fighting for it, but if you're bringing it back and you're going to do it again, these are two dudes that definitely deserve to fight for it. And you already know if this fight would have went 5, it was going to be a war. It was going to be an amazing fight. And if they ever decide to do a third fight, trust me, fans will still be locked in. Fans will still dive to see that fight. They will love to see that fight. And overall, good night. To me, UFC 290 and then UFC 291. They're like neck and neck for cards of the year. So very, very good. I enjoyed it a lot. I had a lot of fun watching that one. Had a lot of fun playing around with the parlays and stuff like that. Just like I said, fantastic night of fights. And I can't wait until the next one, because I think the next one is Sean O'Malley and Aljamain Sterling. So that'll be fun. I don't know what the actual next event is. Let's see what the next event is. Oh, the next event is Corey Sandhagen and Rob Font next Saturday. Then you got Jessica Andrade and Tatiana Suarez as the co-main event. Then we got Vicente Luque and Dos Anjos 2 weeks from Saturday. And then we got Aljo, Sean O'Malley, Weili Zhang, Amanda Lemos, Jeff Neal, Ian Gary, Cody Garbrandt versus Mario Bautista, Marlon Vera versus Pedro Munoz. That is a stacked card as well. So the summer has come through with some stacked cards. We got Max Holloway facing Korean Zombie at the end of August. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. So we got fights to talk about. We got shit to break down. So I will see you soon on the next episode. So if you enjoyed this one, you got to make sure you hit the like button. You comment, because commenting helps the algorithm. So don't be a schmuck. Fucking comment. Share it, because that's just the right thing to do. So do the right thing and share it. And hit the subscribe button, bro. How are you not subscribed? Like, I guarantee you watched another video of mine. Like it or not, the subscribe button. You don't have to like me to hit that subscribe button. It's not hard to do. You just do. If you just do, and then I get a subscriber. And it's like, shout out to you. You did something good. It's going to come back to you. Shout out to you. No, seriously. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification button so you know when the next episode comes out if you enjoyed this one. And I'll catch you on the next episode as always. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later. Peace.